Hey everyone, welcome to Two Car Pros. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to change the spark plugs for a 2008 Chevrolet Impala with a 3.5-liter V6. This is a very easy service that you can absolutely do on your own in your garage, and it's very straightforward. So let's go ahead and jump in. So the first thing we need to do is remove our engine cover. So you can remove the oil fill cap neck. Now, it might not come out nice like this, and instead this will come off. And in that event, it'll look kind of like this. So just twist this until the neck comes out just like the cap did. And then on the plastic piece, just kind of pull straight up like that and remove it. And then replace the oil neck or tube, whatever you want to call it, just so nothing gross falls down into the engine. Now the next thing we can do is remove our spark plug wires from our plugs and just pulling them straight out. And I'm actually going to be replacing these, so I'm not too worried about them if something happens. If you are replacing your spark plugs, I do recommend just replacing the wires. They're not very expensive, and chances are if you're replacing the plugs, the wires are probably right behind them, so you might as well just do them, and the link is down below in the description to them. Just move this clip that holds the wires, and get that out of the way too. Perfect. And then before we go any further, let's blast some compressed air all around our spark plug wells. You can also use like canned air from an electronics store. That works just fine as well. And what that does is make sure no dirt is just ready to fall right into the cylinder when we take the plugs out. So I'm gonna show you how to do one on the front side because, well, that's the easy side. And this plug right here, number 4, is what films the best. So grab a 5/8 spark plug socket, link down below in the description, and make sure it's fully seated on the spark plug nut, and then hold a little bit of pressure on it like this, and then we can start loosening it. There we go. And that's really nice coming out. Now, if it's like kind of cracky or it's like really tough and like doesn't feel quite right when you're taking it out, what I like to do is just tighten it up a little bit and then loosen it like that. And it always seems to preserve the threads a little bit better than just trying to rocket ship it out. And make sure you never use a powered implement like an impact gun. Just use hand tools. And then once you're sure the spark plug will come out, that's what it looks like. So go ahead and do that for all 3 plugs on the front. So now on the coil pack, let's just remove our spark plug wires. And you can just go ahead and remove all of them. There we go. Don't worry, I will show you where each and every wire goes after all of our plugs are replaced. So right here on this clip, just grab a small implement and just push on the safety, and then it should pop open for our wire holder. Just pop our wires out, and then we can just remove our wires for the front and throw them away. And then on the back side, obviously we haven't done the plugs yet. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this coil pack just because I think it will be a lot easier to get to everything. I'm gonna remove this vacuum line here that goes to the brake booster because I think it'd be a lot easier with it not in my way. There we go. Nice. And then right here, we're just gonna unplug our coil pack. You just push down on the safety like this and walk the connector back like that. There we go. Now the only thing holding this in are those 4 bolts. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove this coil pack. You probably don't need to, but I think it's gonna make accessibility a lot easier. And it's just 4 10mm bolts. There's one. There's 2. 3. There we go. Oh yeah, that's gonna make it way easier. And also remove the bracket that the coil pack was sitting on. You really don't have to do that. It's just, I couldn't film, so I had to remove that. That's for instructional purposes only. So again, reach down here and just wiggle off your plug wires. I have often found in transverse mounted engines that people or techs will replace the front plugs that are easy to get to and then neglect the back ones. So often these are very stuck on, like these ones are. And I think we're gonna find that here today because of how hard these are taking off. And you can always tell by looking at the plug condition whether they've been changed or not. There we go, easier. And again, don't worry about mixing any of the wires up. It's pretty easy because it's odd on one side and even on the other. This is the odd side. There we go. Yeah, these are really tough to get off. Again, some compressed air. Blow around those wells so we don't get any dirt inside of the engine. Nice. So we can fish our spark plug socket down there. You can even just feel around for them to kind of give you an idea of where it needs to go. Like right there's one. And once we're sure our socket with an extension is very securely on the nut for the spark plug, we can grab our ratchet, put it on there, and break her loose. There we go, and removed. And then go ahead and do it for the other two. The other one is right here at the end of my pointer finger, right there. And then the other one is right down that way, but it's exactly the same, I promise. So now that all of our plugs are removed from our engine, we can take a look at them and make sure they're not any kind of, charred, weird patterning or oiled or anything like that. These just look a little on the old side. They don't look so bad though, honestly. And here's our replacement plug made by AC Delco, and the link is located down below in the description. So the first thing I always do with a spark plug when I take it out of the packaging is just inspect it, looking at the porcelain with a gloved hand or very lightly with your fingers. Go around the porcelain like this to feel for any kind of crack, because if this porcelain is cracked in some way, a shipping company drops this and smashes it or whatever, don't even bother putting it in the car because it's not going to work. This passes that test, and then the next thing we're gonna do is check for the gap. The gap should be 40 thousandths. This one's 35. That's probably close enough. You only really need to worry about if it's like absurdly off. We can open it up a little bit if we want to. There, 40 thousandths right on the money. So 40 thousandths is the spec for that. Again, 35 would have probably been fine too. It's not a race car, it's okay, trust me. And then what I like to do, and I know this has become kind of controversial lately, which is interesting, is just put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads. Not like a ton, just some. And then I smear it around like this. A lot of people have told me that, oh, they don't want you putting anti-seize on things anymore because of torque spec and blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. Have you ever gotten a spark plug stuck in a head? It's not super fun. I'll take the risk. I will put anti-seize on it, but if you don't want to, you do not have to. And then we can load up our plug into our spark plug socket very gingerly. There we go. We can go back over to the car and do this for all 6 of our plugs. So then we can very carefully put our spark plug back into its well, matching the angle it came out in, making sure we don't cross thread it. It's very easy to do that, especially in these fancy aluminum heads. And I'm just gonna bring it all the way down until I can't turn it anymore with my fingers. And then we're going to very gently put our torque wrench on our extension. You don't wanna yaw it about a bunch. And my torque spec for today is 11 foot-pounds. And I do recommend a torque wrench for things like this because 11 isn't very much, and these aluminum heads are very picky. And if you overdo it, you'll strip the threads right out. There you go, 11 foot-pounds, all you need. And then we can just remove the torque wrench. And then very carefully remove the spark plug socket extension. Sometimes it gets stuck on there, it's okay, don't panic. Grab a pair of needle nose and grab our socket and pull it straight out towards you, because if you try to like rock it back and forth, like you try to do this kind of action with it, you have a really good chance of cracking that porcelain, which we went over earlier, is no good. So I showed you how to do one on the front side of the engine, or what you would consider the front towards you. Go ahead and do that for the 2 other ones, and then we're gonna switch over to the back side of the engine, or the hard side, I would call it. So before we attempt to put the back plugs in, I'm going to show you a little diagram about what it looks like. So that is the cylinder head, and that's how the plugs go in. And you'll notice 2 of them are at the same angle, but 1 of them is basically at the opposite angle. So you kind of have to match that up and make sure you're coming in at exactly this angle as shown on the illustration. Obviously, that is going to be a little bit difficult and basically impossible to film, but I'm going to do my best to at least show you doing one. So now we're on the firewall side, and we can kind of fish our plug around down there. But honestly, this is something I would probably invest in if I were you. It's just a simple mirror, and the link is down below in the description. What that's going to be able to enable me to do is find where that spark plug well is, so I don't bonk the plug a dozen times, and I can actually get it in at the correct angle. There we go. And if it's not going in exactly and it's kind of fighting you a little bit, go ahead and take it back out and try again. And then put our torque wrench on there. And we can tighten that down to the 11 foot-pounds. There we go. Remove our torque wrench. Give the extension a little wiggle. And we should be able to plug that off and get our socket out of there. And then go ahead and do that for the other 2 remaining plugs. It's exactly the same except for those angles like I showed earlier. You'll have 2 that match and 1 that doesn't. And then we're gonna put on a new set of spark plug wires. Here's our part number, and the link is located down below in the description for your convenience. Buy the AC Delco ones. Please, please, please buy the AC Delco ones. No, I'm not sponsored. No, I don't get any kind of kickback for that. And the link is located down below in the description. The reason I'm begging you is to buy a nice AC Delco part is because people will often buy the cool aftermarket ones that are different colors and they claim to have bigger spark, whatever that means. But these are the ones that are going to last and last and last and go and go and go and won't leave you stranded or give you a misfire. Give them a little inspection, have them look around, and then organize them by length. So I have all my spark plug wires laid out in the order that they should go, with the odds and then the evens. So this will be 1, 3, and 5. And then we're going to have 2, 4, and 6. Honestly, the even ones all seem like they're the same length, so I don't think that matters too much. And even 3 and 5 are the same length. The only one that's a little bit different is number 1. So that is just something to kind of consider when you're routing things. This should be fairly easy and straightforward as far as which wire goes where. So now we can put our coil pack back on, and our coil pack has a cheat sheet on it, which is super cool. You'll notice that it has numbers written on it. So from left to right, it's 6, 3, 5, 2, 4, 1. And that corresponds with our cylinder numbers. So number 1 spark plug wire needs to go to this hole, and so on and so forth. But we can go ahead and put our coil pack back on. And remember, these bolts are 10 millimeter. So just tighten them in a cross pattern like this. Don't really have a torque spec. You don't really need one. Just tight is good. And then we can take our coil pack connector and just plug it in. Just line it up like that and push it on until it clicks, and you can't just pull it back off really easy. There you go. So the next thing I'm going to teach you is how to tell which cylinder is which, because it might not go the way you expect it to. So if you are standing what is called the front of the engine, where the harmonic damper is, all the accessories hook up, but if you're standing in front of the hood, it's to the left of the engine. So with the engine mounted this way in the car, you can see I've numbered on the plenum basically where those spark plugs are numbered. So it always starts with GM stuff. When you're sitting on the left side of the engine, that is going to be cylinder number 1. Across from it's 2, above 1 is 3, across from 3 is 4, above 3 is 5, and then finally 6 on the right. So those numbers I showed on the coil, that's what they mean. So hook number 1 up to this spark plug and number 2 to this one, and so on and so forth. It's really easy. So I'm going to show you how to run one wire, and the rest are all exactly the same. I'm going to do number 2 because it is the furthest one. So I'm going to look on the back side of the engine, or the firewall side, and find number 2 on the coil pack, which is this one right here, and push that all the way down until you hear, it'll be like a little faint click. And then we can route that over, putting it in its little clip, so it looks all factory and nice. Do the same thing for this one down here. and then we can run it on over to where the spark plug is. And then right where the spark plug is, we're just going to push on our boot until we feel, and you can kind of hear a nice little click. You can give it a little tug to make sure it's not just going to plop off of there. And that looks pretty good. And I've noticed that these plug wires are a little bit longer than normal. What you don't want is the wire touching the exhaust manifold like this, because it will burn through there and eventually you'll have a problem. So you might want to wire manage in such a way that prevents the spark plug wires from getting anywhere that gets hot or moves. So here's what mine looks like. Cable managed okay. It doesn't have to be a big art project or something. It's a good idea to kind of route things so they don't get anywhere hot or moves like I mentioned. The next thing we're gonna do is start the car and just kind of see if it misfires. If it misfires or has a tough time running, you either forgot to put the brake booster line back on, or maybe you don't have a plug wire on all the way. So let's find out. So as you can hear, the engine is running perfectly great. That's exactly how this engine should be running. If it was misfiring or having a problem, you would physically see the engine like rocking back and forth and not being ran properly. You can tell right away if it's not right, but this is perfect. So our plug job is all done. We just need to put the cover back on. So finally, remove our oil tube, place that aside. And then you'll see these little prongs here and here, and those correspond with holes on the engine cover. Just orientate it correctly, like that. There we go, that's excellent. And then we can put our oil tube back in. There you go, the job is all done. So that is how to replace your spark plugs and wires for a 2008 Chevrolet Impala with a 3.5 liter V6. Again, this is pretty darn easy. A shop is most likely going to charge you anywhere from $300 to $500 to do this work. To me, this is very, very simple. And I think the plugs plus the wires was something like $80, something like that. So I've left the links down below in the description for your convenience. If you found this video helpful or interesting at all, please consider becoming a member down below. It's a direct way to help the channel out. Barring that, a like, subscription, and comment go a long way to help me out in the algorithm, and I really appreciate that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.